Hi, this is Tanya Milbrodt. Thank you very much for coming back to my channel, Better Off Wickless. Glad you're here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about felt samples, why I use them, when I use them, and how easy they are to do. So today we're going to be working with April's scent of the month, which is sugared strawberry, and we have little strawberry felts that we're going to be using, and I'll go over with you guys how to make the sample, and then once we've made a few of those, we'll come back over here and we'll go over when I utilize felt versus a wax sample. Hi guys. Okay, so right here is my layout for sample making night. As you can see, I've done a few already. We have my Wilton candy melter. This is what I am using tonight to melt all my wax. If you look in there, you can see I've got about, well, a little less than a bar and a half now because I've done some of the samples, but it melts it really quickly, really easy to use, and I like that it has a little pour spout, so if I'm doing something other than a felt sample, it's easy to pour it in the molds. So this is kind of my layout. You can use wax paper. I have aluminum foil handy, so aluminum foil it is. That's going to be where I'm putting my samples to dry. And I don't want you guys to feel like you can't do this if you don't have all these tools. If you don't have a Wilton candy maker, it's not very expensive. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at any craft store. But if you don't have that, if you'll follow me over here, if you're just put your wax in your warmer and you can put your felt sample right in there to make it too. So whatever works for you, okay? So what I'm going to do is I just take the felt, drop it into the wax, let it sit there for a second, and then I'm going to pull it out and just kind of let it drip dry for a second, get the excess off. And then I'm going to transfer it over and lay it down on my aluminum foil to dry up. And I'm going to go through that. As you can see over here, I've got quite a bit of felt. I get my felt from 418 Dreams on Etsy. Great little shop. They have a lot of different shapes and their customer service is outstanding. So check them out if you're interested in some different shapes. So that's really all it is. It's as simple as that. You're taking your felt, dropping it in the wax. You can use tweezers. I think these are like little scissors or whatever. Whatever you want to grab them out, get the excess off, and move it over to dry. And that's it. That's as easy as it is. Okay, so now that we have made some of our felt samples, what we do is I get these little bags, and they're about this size. I get these at Michael's or Joann's or Ben Franklin, any little craft store. You can get like 300 for like $1.50. They're really inexpensive and they're a great size. So sometimes they're tough to get open. I just take that. I'm going to take one of my dried wax samples. They just pull right off of the aluminum foil. Drop the wax sample into the bag. There you go. Now, if you are not already a part of the group, I highly suggest going on Facebook. Look up the group All About Samples and request to join it. You'll have to answer a couple questions so that they can verify that you're a Scentsy consultant because it's only consultants allowed in the group. But they make these amazing labels to go on our samples. And they're in Adobe. You download it and there's an empty space here where you can choose fill and sign and you can put in all your information and then save it. And then when you print it out, it's got all your info on there. Really, really great tools. So I take that, fold it over, and there's my sample. Looks really professional, really nice. Now for this particular one, I'm going to be putting these on our monthly flyers for the scent of the month. So I'm going to wait and staple in place on the flyer. Yikes. Instead of stapling first, and then normally if I would be making wax samples to hand out to customers, I would just put the label on, staple it, and set it aside. But since these are going on the flyers, I'll place the label, put it on where I want it, and then staple it to the flyer. So it's right there on front for when I mail these out. Speaking of mailing, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about as far as felt samples go. Why would we use felt samples? Don't people want wax? Yeah, people do. The customers want wax. They want wax they can put in their warmer and they can feel of it and smell it and check it out. They want wax. Have you ever tried to mail wax? It does not go well. I have done really flat, simple molds and mailed them out and asked my close friends that got them, hey, how did they turn out? Oh, it was really smushed, but it smelled great. Well, that defeats the whole purpose of using the cute mold. Why use the cute mold to have that cute shape if it's going to get thrashed in the mail? So A, this is nice and thin. It won't get smashed. B, if it's hot, if you're anywhere where it's hot all the time, or if it's summer, or if you're mailing to a customer that's not nearby and it's hot where they are, it's going to be in the mail truck. I have a friend who's a mail carrier. They can testify. It is hot in those mail trucks. If you mail out a wax sample that's on felt, yes, it's still going to melt. It's going to reabsorb right back into that felt once it's not boiling hot. So it's good for melting. It's good for not getting smushed. And this doesn't cost any extra postage. I can take this flyer and a little insert that I put in there for, thanks for being a customer or Scent of the Month Club or whatever. And I can stuff that in an envelope, regular postage. No extra postage because the felt is so flat. So that is when I choose to use felt. Felt is great for mailing and it's great for the heat. So that's when I choose to use it. I still do a lot of samples that are out of molds or using my crinkle cutter or other various methods of doing it, because if I'm giving out samples from a party, or if I'm giving out samples at a vendor event, or if I'm just handing out a sample to my barista, I want them to get something cute. I want it to be a cute shape. I want it to be an actual chunk of wax. Customers like that. So I really only do felt for mailing, but it is great for mailing. And you can still make it cute by using the fun shapes. So that is how easy it is to do it and kind of the why you might choose to do this instead of a regular wax sample. I hope this helped you guys. One last thing I wanted to go over. The reason I use these little bags from the craft store when Scentsy has their own very, very cute little sacks. They say Scentsy on them. They're super cute. These are actually less expensive. And these, you can see the mold, there's so much leftover space in that. And these cute little labels are designed to fold. Well, it just seems weird. So I don't love the little Scentsy sacks for wax samples. Maybe if I was doing a mixer and I didn't layer the sample or something like that, but I usually don't use it for wax. I get these from the craft store. They're cheaper. They're the perfect size. They fit with the labels. They're great. I do utilize the Scentsy ones. I use them for soak samples. This fits a scoop using the washer with scoop of Scentsy soak and looks really cute. So you can still utilize these, but I try and think of how is it going to look the most professional? How is it going to look the nicest for the customer? And to me, this just seems awkward when it comes to wax samples. So craft store for these, 418 Dreams on Etsy for all kinds of felt shapes. And that was how easy it was to do. Good luck. Let me know how it goes for you guys. Thanks.